Welcome back. I didn't notice that the last video, for whatever reason, had stopped recording, and I think I was talking about this particular engine being supercharged, and that's absolutely remarkable. Even without this being supercharged, this is a brutally powerful car. It's very, very fast, and it's heavy, it's big, and it's old. But my goodness me, if you unleash it in sport mode, see, it's got a more advanced gearbox. The Jaguar J gate. You can either hold it in sort of different gears and select manually, or you can leave it in automatic and turn it into sport mode. And when you turn it to sport mode, it allows the engine in automatic to rev right up to the red line, whereas it changes gear far sooner than that if it's in the regular mode. The thing that holds the performance back on this car, and this is not a slow car, it will do more than 120 miles per hour despite its weight, is the automatic transmission. There's the it's a very slender looking stalk selector, which is very elegant. I much prefer the look of that, but this is only 3-speed, and it's a Borg-Warner box, and it can cope with the phenomenal torque that an engine like this produces. And it's very, very silky smooth, but it's a little bit slushy. You do lose a lot of the power of the engine in the torque converter. That's not the case with this. This engine it's a bit more powerful than that one. Despite that one's massive age, there's not a huge difference in the power. What unleashes this one and lets it run free is that phenomenal Jaguar automatic transmission. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not really a massive fan of automatics. I prefer manuals. I like the sort of slightly ragged experience. I like the involvement, and the manual just totally unleashes the power of these engines. Automatics do tend to stifle it. These X300s are available as a manual, but my goodness me, they're rare, and I would love one, but to be honest, I drive it a bit like a lunatic. But I think I mentioned in the previous video, this engine was in the Aston Martin DB7 before they put the V12 in it. It's exactly the same engine, this is a 4 litre. The one that was in the Aston Martin was a 3.2 litre engine. It's a much freer revving and much smoother engine, due to, I explained in the previous video, it's almost square and it's supercharged, so it's a frenzied little beast. It really is. It's quite a small engine that revs freely, and it's supercharged. So and most of them were also manual as well. So they're both legendary, truly legendary, wonderful engines, and this one is easily capable, even if abused and not serviced. 250,000 miles is not unusual. You can get 250,000 plus out of the XK engine, but boy, do you have to service it and look after it. You really do have to look after it. But I've had one of these, and it was neglected before my ownership, and I did 150,000 miles in my 3.2 in 3 years, and it just, I had to get rid of it because the car was so rotten in the end. But it was on 368,000 miles, and I drove it ever so hard. It was only 3.2, so I drove it quite hard, and honestly, it's just the most magical engine, as is this. This XK. It's a different generation. They're just, totally different engineering types, and what happens over time. Engineering allows the engines to be slightly smaller, and this one's cast iron at the bottom and it's aluminium at the top. Now that does cause a problem with electrolytic corrosion within the engine. This one, it's much lighter because it's all aluminium. The block on this one's called the AJ16. When it went in the XJ40, it was called the AJ6, the Advanced Jaguar 6. This is the AJ16. It's just got slightly lighter pistons. It's basically the same as what's in the XJ40. Very, very similar. But once again, this one's got fuel injection. It doesn't come standard. I said fuel injection. I didn't mean fuel injection. LPG injection. This is the LPG injectors, and underneath the petrol, the fuel injectors. It's trying to run these things. The mileage I do on petrol here in the UK is difficult, but LPG, when you can get it, when it's been out of stock for about the last 3 or 4 weeks, the whole country's been, for some reason there's a refinery process problem. I've not been able to get LPG, so this car doesn't have any LPG in it, and neither does that one. So I'm paying, the cars both will run on petrol, but it's twice the cost. I've ordered a new filter. There's that, I believe that's a little bit clogged up. That's for the LPG. I've no idea when that was last cleaned out, but I'll make another video when I actually service the LPG system. But I really did want to show you both cars whilst they're sort of sitting together and how sort of similar they are. But they're both beautiful, and I'm really thrilled to have both, one of each.